After waiting 7 decades to become king, a troubled King Charles is locked in a secret battle with mental illness that threatens to ruin the monarchy altogether, according to National Enquirer. Instead of feeling excited about his upcoming May 6 coronation, the fragile royal is being eaten alive by anxiety and fear, according to high-level courtiers. A senior palace official has warned Charles's emotional stability is hanging on by a thread. He's terrified he won't be able to cope with crises that could rip his fledgling monarchy to shreds, and panic-stricken about following in the footsteps of his majestic mother. We worry he'll have a meltdown and won't even be able to attend his coronation. And according to sources, his only salvation is his tough wife Camilla. Camilla has spent her life dreaming of becoming queen, says the official. She won't let anything or anyone stand in her way. Charles's distress was exposed during the royal's Easter service at St. George's Chapel on the 9th of May. That, of course, was the first since Queen Elizabeth passed away last September at age 96. Charles showed some symptoms of anxiety, including wringing and clasping his hands as he was entering the chapel where his mother lies in rest. The tension was visible, says body language expert Judy James. She says that His Majesty projected a desire to hide away. And supposedly, Camilla was furious due to the public display of weakness. I'm told Camilla erupted in fury after the service and ordered her hapless husband to get his act together, says the royal source. She told him he'd been waiting his entire life to become king, so he better not screw it up, for himself and her. For a long time now, Charles's eccentric habits have worried palace staffers. A palace source dishes he talks to his plants and wanders around his garden chatting to his assassinated uncle, Lord Mountbatten. He once launched a nutty plan to wipe out invasive American gray squirrels by lacing Nutella with a chemical to kill their sex drive. He even sleeps with his childhood teddy bear, as his son Harry revealed in his memoir. Now, remarkably, Charles is also supposedly worried that he might be a werewolf after finding out that his ancestor, the insane King George III, suffered from a condition called porphyria. It's a very rare and very strange condition that's behind the mythical half-man, half-wolf beasts. The king's underlying mental health issues really got a lot worse after Harry and his narcissistic wife Meghan quit royal duties back in 2020, and then leveled so many attacks, including charges of racism and cruelty against the royal family in their Netflix docu-series Harry's Memoir Spare, and also TV interviews. The National Enquirer reported that Charles suffered a secret emotional breakdown after he was called an uncaring, abusive father by the renegade royals. Charles is actually very shy and sensitive, and he sank into a depression over the betrayals by his son and daughter-in-law, not to mention what he sees as efforts to keep him from his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet, says a source. Children of a parent with a diagnosed disorder can be 7 times more likely to develop a disorder themselves. That is according to an analysis by UNC Health's Dr. Anna Bauer, who didn't speak with the Enquirer. So it all adds up to the possibility of a coronation disaster. The palace source proclaims only Camilla can save the day. She's ordered Charles to man up for the sake of the nation and their marriage. Against all odds, Camilla got Charles to the altar. You can bet she'll get him to his coronation. And it's not only Charles that has some mental health problems. Harry is clearly very unstable and he's delusional. He uses his addictions to deal with everyday life. Now he's got a woman who brings out the absolute worst in him to the point of convincing him that she is the reincarnation of his late mother Diana. Harry has a really difficult time separating the two of them. So that makes him determined to protect his mother/wife and show his dad who's boss. He wants to be his wife's hero, and he changes the narrative to suit whatever his agenda is. Harry is controlled by his addictions. It's not the other way around. And Meghan also has similar addictions, basically. Sex, drugs, alcohol seem to rule in her life. It is an open marriage, according to a lot of people. And Harry's a loose cannon. He's very unpredictable. The royal family needs to watch him closely. With all the problems that Harry and Charles seem to have, I think it's incredibly lucky that William comes across as such a normal person. He's cute as a button, he seems very friendly, and he seems real. He seems to be a loving, doting husband to his wife and kids. I just love the way that William and Catherine communicate to each other. It's so sweet, and I love those photos of the family. It seems like William really knows how to listen to other people. He's got his father's style of greeting for sure. He understands how to meet and interact with people and make them feel good. I see a lot of his grandmother in him too. His mother, though, not so much. William is a private person, and he follows the family's motto very closely. We can basically predict what he's going to do. But unfortunately, there will never be a tell all in his future. When a book comes out, though, it's going to have a purpose historically. It won't just be a free fall into nothingness like his brother's book. So Harry apparently is expecting to face a nightmare at the king's coronation without Meghan there by his side. I mean, let's remember, he had a family who loved him to pieces. They trusted him, and they included him in everything they did. They did give him plenty of hugs and kisses, come on. He was loved by everyone. People even cheered and chanted his name to show how much they adored him. But just look at him now. He's got nothing to show, including his brutal honesty, his opinions, and all the smears. His open book policy, where everything is laid out in the open, has really shocked a lot of people. These subjects are not something that Harry should bring up in polite conversation. I mean, why did he think it was appropriate to brag about a frozen body part that nobody needs to know anything about? It looks like Harry is so excited to share this inappropriate information. He's proud of his accomplishments. He's proud of the way that he solves problems, and he's proud of the rewards he has gotten. And it's not only that Harry is guilty of giving out way too much information, he also trashes everybody. It looks like nobody is immune. His dramatic exploits are exactly why the family has such a problem with him. Not only does he publicly go after them, but he also slanders them relentlessly, and he talks about all their secrets, like how to find grandma. He doesn't care about their feelings whatsoever. But it's really unnecessary for them to even speak out loud about Harry's hidden secrets. He's just going to sue them, they know. Harry's got no problem with talking about them, but when they try to talk about him, oh, he gets furious. This anger is pretty common in Harry, actually. Nobody is his friend thanks to private conversations being reported to the news agencies. But at the coronation, Harry will have to come face to face with the same people he despises, the people he claims are so toxic to him. It is part of his DNA, after all. And Harry's going to be walking all by himself if he does show up. The biggest problem has always been money. Harry was desperate to stay relevant to his paymasters. He was desperate to be seen with the royal family, or he didn't have anything to show. He doesn't have any skills, after all, or talents. And besides, it was a few $1,000,000 anyway, so they instructed him he had to go. They told him he was not allowed to pout in the corner, but he needed to be pleasant. They instructed him to try to make a good impression on people, try to look good for the cameras and the well-wishers, and they had second thoughts about him, so they gave him a few rules to follow, which of course he was never going to do. See, Harry does not have any filters in place. He cannot hide his feelings. Being drugged, paranoid, and mentally unhinged was never going to change the landscape of how Harry saw the world, and his family too. It was a horrible idea to expect obedience from Harry. Harry lives in his own fantasy world. He is not in touch with reality. But hopefully he could stay isolated from his family, so that at least no harm would come to them. Perhaps they were going to thoroughly and carefully investigate him, looking for guns or contraband or knives or drugs. There are many things that Harry could be trying to hide. Harry has been unstable and unpredictable, and he needs to be heavily guarded in order to protect his father and brother. Harry cannot be trusted.